My name is John Ross with Finance on a Budget. In this video, I want to talk about analyzing your monthly expenditures. By the end of this video, you will have a more organized way of knowing where all of your hard-earned money goes. From gathering the initial data to categorizing them the right way. This is to ensure that you can be more in control of your budget. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and ring the bell notification. Gather your thoughts. If you really want to stay on top of your budget, you're going to have to know how to keep track of your expenses. It will take a while for you to get your data organized in a meaningful way, but knowing where that money is going will help you see the big picture. We will be going into more details, but basically, you need to calculate your net worth. Add up all of your income, then subtract all of your expenses. This kind of self-assessment will help you see all the in and out values when it comes to your money. It will help you understand your own priorities and the current economic situation that you're in. Here's a paraphrased quote from a man named James Frick. "Don't tell me what your priorities are. Show me where you spend your money, and then I'll tell you what your priorities are." To get yourself started, create a simple list of things that you think you're spending your money on every month. Just do a quick assessment. Bills, food, gas, leisure, whatever. When you're finished, I want you to actually add up all of your expenses for the past month. Go through your bank accounts and your credit card statements. All of it. I want you to categorize every penny. Dedicate yourself to this task for a full hour at the very least. This critical first step is key to identifying how your actual financial situation is going. Then compare where you thought you were to where you really are. When I barely started, I realized that on paper, I should have a ton of extra money every month to pay our mortgage. It wasn't until we lost our house and had to start paying rent at an even higher monthly price that I realized that we actually could have afforded our house. We just kept paying late fees and bounce fees instead. Seriously, our fees were off the charts. I have other videos about the hows and whys that happened. If you can make the time, you will get the most benefit out of this exercise if you can do the past 3 months worth of incomes and expenses. Preferably non-holiday, non-vacation months. Your goal is to see how much money you have going out every month and compare that with how much you have coming in every month. As a freelancer, I have always been all over the place financially, but I really should have focused on the highest paying jobs, not the lowest ones, because they were the regular house accounts. Just tell them no, they have to wait. I know that sometimes it gets hard to manage your clients, but when you're ready to stop being broke all the time, it's not really that hard. $150 an hour beats out $21 an hour any time of the week. Gather your data and set your financial goals. To understand your expenses, you can easily see where you stand by simply gathering all of your bank accounts and credit card statements. Go through your transactions from the past 3 months, 6 months, or even the past year. This way, you can easily see which expenses are monthly and which ones are yearly. This will help you see what your monthly or yearly subscriptions are and help you decide if they're still worth keeping. When evaluating your income and expenses, include recent pay stubs, utility payments, mortgage, regular services, W-2s, 1099s, auto loan statements, bank statements, and retirement accounts. Don't forget to check your online accounts too. If you go paperless with most of your bills, it's easy to let a month or two slip. Make sure that you have all of those covered as well. You should also make sure that you have actual statements and not just bank entries to get your total amount owed, your total interest rates, and all of your due dates. I have all that information laid out in a simple yet detailed spreadsheet for each and every month. I know what to pay and how much and when. Record your data. With all of the data easily accessible and within reach, you can now start recording your data. There are a ton of online tools that you can use, and even receipt scanners your smartphone can help you with. There are budgeting apps that you can use as well, but personally, I'm a fan of good old spreadsheet because manual entries help me pay attention to every single penny. You can even use pen and paper if that makes you more comfortable. But the point is to get everything listed down so you know where to look. Write out all of your transactions and review each and every one of them as you go. Writing them down and copying them from your statements actually helps you pay attention to what you're writing or typing. This helps the information make a long-lasting impression in your brain as opposed to just looking through them without jotting them down. There's also something more real about copying those expenses manually. With every entry that you put in, you are faced with the reality that those expenses are what you need to pay every single month. It's like jotting them down makes the expense more real somehow and not just numbers on a sheet of paper. I pay for nearly everything with 2 credit cards, one personal, one business. While it's easy to just let the system automatically download and categorize everything, I choose to do it manually and enter everything into a spreadsheet. It takes me about an hour per week. It's a minor chore to do, but I choose to do it. It helps me to mentally keep track of the items like Amazon, which is easy to simply buy and forget. There are apps like Emma that will automatically download and categorize for you. If you choose to do that, where is the accountability? I still wouldn't know what my wife was spending money on. If I have to manually enter it, then I know full well where our money is going. Because of this, I can tell you exactly what we value. My wife values good food, and I value growing my business. Now that we know what we value, we can easily avoid the junk that drains our monthly income. During the pandemic, we had to give up bowling. When the time came to go back, we realized we really didn't want to spend $50 a week to bowl, $20 a week to drink, and $40 a week to eat after. Instead, we took that $440 a month and went on a really awesome vacation. I'm currently writing this while I'm on that vacation. We told them we are not going to be coming back. Guess what we're going to be saving that money for next year? Categorize to make clear goals. As you're noting all of your expenses, you need to categorize them into sections that make sense to you. Group them into 3 expenses: fixed, variable, and yearly. Then, I want you to sort them by due date. That's the really important part. Fixed costs are those that probably won't change too much from month to month, which includes things like your rent, mortgage, debts, and insurance. Variable expenses, on the other hand, are things that have room for adjustments, like clothing, dining out, travel, and groceries. Yearly expenses are things like rental insurance, conventions, or property taxes. Personally, every Friday night, I sit down in front of my spreadsheet, open my credit card website, I copy down each expense and add it to a predefined category. In general, I have categories for different family members, business expenses like assistants, and personal expenses like groceries, gas, etc. You will find that month after month, all of your expenses are pretty consistent. For example, our family of 3 constantly spends $1,200 on food, whether dining in or going out. The total is always the same. Now that I know that after a full year of tracking, I can reasonably plan for next month and next year. Same for gas. We spend $275 per month driving around based on local prices. Of course, during the pandemic, we were getting 4 weeks per gallon, so that was pretty good. With everything organized into categories and dates, start by marking all of the non-negotiables. With this, I mean necessities that you really can't live without: food, gas, electricity, cell phone, etc. Then, go through any expenses that you can look back at and regret. Buyer's remorse is a real thing, be it that pricey pair of shoes you ordered on Amazon late one night, or a fancy multi-purpose blender you bought even though you still have a perfectly good one in the kitchen. Plenty of expenses that we regret are the ones that we really didn't think through. They're usually based on emotional spending, which are the worst culprits when it comes to eating away at your savings. Categorizing your expenses also helps you to manage a little better when you have an irregular source of income, like a freelancer. This will help you create a monthly cash flow plan so that you can see how much money you really need to make every month. Personally, when I start each month, I have all of the planned expenses and known income preset for me. All I need to do is look at the bottom line, and it tells me exactly how much money I need to make each month in order to break even. Because I know some clients don't always pay at the end of the month, I can add a line item for what they owe, and this lowers the bottom line, which once again tells me how much I need to make in order to break even. Analyze your income sources. With all of those expenses organized, you can now add up all of the sources of income along with the total for all of the mandatory monthly expenses. Subtract those expenses from your total monthly income, and if that number comes out positive, good for you. If it doesn't, don't worry. That's why I'm here to help you fix it. Write down all of your regular earnings from your job after tax and 401k contributions. Add other income sources like investments, savings, self-employment, side hustles, and so on. Compute for everything that you earned in the past 3 months and get an average to give you an idea of what you can expect to make in the coming months. Some months are tricky. A vacation in August and a holiday in December throw off the expected numbers. Either go around these months, as I have all year, or include them in the yearly total. Either way, expect them to come around next year. Remember, take-home income is the only thing that really matters when we're talking about budgeting. Don't include any pre-tax earnings. Be sure that you only account for what you actually take home. And if this results in you being in the red, then it's a perfect time for a wake-up call for you to take action. It's time for you to take your financial situation seriously, and this little spreadsheet is glaring proof of that. As you keep up this practice of tracking your expenses, remember every single thing that you uncover. Keeping tabs on your monthly expenses will help you see the problem areas you need to fix, like financial leaks and other unnecessary stuff you need to cut back on. The whole point of analyzing your monthly expenses is to spot those leaks and to at least be aware of how they are affecting your budget negatively. Don't be overwhelmed by the numbers. When you're done with your analysis, keep your discoveries in mind as you actually start budgeting. Future video. For starters, you can now trim back on those expensive coffee runs and impulse burgers. You will be forced to start thinking more about the future and how saving up for a rainy day is a good idea. Who knows? You might even discover that things aren't as bad as you initially thought they were. You may have a little bit of padding for discretionary expenses, and your long-term goal of a new home or a car may not be too far out of reach. All it really takes is a little bit of organization and a huge amount of self-discipline. For us, we were terrible with eating out. We still go out, but we intentionally spend $30 instead of $60. We just forgo the ambiance and go with the simplicity of not having to cook. That said, I hope I was able to shed some light onto what you're doing wrong so that you can start working on what to do right. Be sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and ring that notification bell. Thanks for watching.